I give you $10 for every...
You want me to give you $10 for every minute she's late?
Yeah, but there's no other side of that.
If she's exactly on time.
I give you $50.
Yeah.
Okay. No way.
How late do you think she's going to be? That's the question. How late do you think she's going to be?
7 minutes.
Then you give me $70.
Okay, deal.
$10 per minute.
All right.
And I'll give you $10 for every minute. Oh, look, the phone line's ringing. How
Damn, she's early. Dang.
Give me the Interscope.
Yeah, she may be saying it's going to be... Wait, don't get
wait.
cocky.
Okay.
She might be
I'm
saying
not.
it's going to be 15 minutes.
Ooh, I'm waiting for it.
Hey, Gaga, hold on 1 second. We'll be right with you, okay?
Cha-ching.
Yeah, get her on. I'm mad.
She's right here.
Lady Gaga.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello.
How are you today?
How are you?
Well, I'm okay, but you owe me $70.
$70? That's a lot. Why? What'd I do?
Well, you were on time, first of all, calling, and you're Lady Gaga, and I just assumed because you're Lady Gaga, you were going to be late, so I just bet one of my co-hosts that you were at least going to be 7 minutes late, and I was going to give her $10 for every minute, and you showed up early, and now I owe her $70, which means you owe her $70.
Yeah, well, sorry. I guess people shouldn't make assumptions about me.
Gaga, I had your back. I knew you'd be on time, and I just want to personally thank you for my $70.
You're very welcome. You can go get a really nice dinner.
I know.
With $70.
Shoot, are you kidding me, girl?
Steak dinner.
I'm buying a pair of shoes. That's going to shoes.
Oh yeah, that's.
She just got disconnected. They're on an international phone. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me just give her a quick call back. Hold up.
Okay.
I was like, oh no, flashbacks of Adam Levine. It's happening again.
No.
It's happening again.
Way too cool for that.
I agree.
Are you all there?
We are here. Are you?
Hey, sorry. I don't know what happened.
That's okay. We're a little shell-shocked. We thought we got hung up on by Adam Levine
And Coldplay.
and Coldplay over the last couple of months, so we thought maybe we already offended you so badly that you hung up on us.
No, that did not happen. No, don't worry.
Now she's really excited for the interview, though.
Yes, no, it's okay. It's okay. People can be sensitive. I'm not terribly sensitive. People say things to me all the time.
Lady Gaga hanging out with The Burt Show. Have you ever hung up in the middle of an interview or just gotten up in the middle of a TV interview and said, I can't do this anymore?
I do sometimes. I mean, not recently. Recently, things have been really great. Everyone's been really excited for me to come back. But yes, I mean, if an interviewer is really negative or trying to bait you with something really negative, I mean, that can be really, because I'm a really positive person, and it just, things in the media have really veered towards negativity, and I just try to keep it really positive. And so if someone's being that way, I might leave, but I'll do it in a polite way anyway, because my dad's probably in the next room, and he'll yell at me if I'm not polite.
Okay, I'm going to do this in the most positive way possible then, okay? Because I felt like the night or the morning after your VMA performance, I felt like America got it wrong. Like, I felt like it was a great performance. The song was great, and it was artistic, and I know that's super important to you. But I felt like the country was focusing more on your ass than anything else. And I was wondering if you kind of felt like the same way. Like, that's not what this was about at all.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they always focus on the wrong thing, and I don't know. I was really happy with the way that the performance was received, because I don't really pay attention to I don't know. I guess when you say America, are you referring to like journalists or blogs or things like that?
Yeah, I think probably the press.
I'm much more focused on like my Twitter feed, or if you look online at searches and things like that. That's really where you can tell if people liked it or not, or if the song spikes on iTunes. These are the sorts of things that are much more telling. So I just try to focus on that stuff. But yeah, people were talking about my tushy, but it serves me right. I mean, I took my tushy out at the end of the performance, so what do I expect?
Now,
Well, she's been working hard on that,
It looked
she?
good.
And she
It
should
does
have.
look good.
But that moment in the show was really meant for me to say to my fans and to the world, I mean, it was inspired by the birth of Venus, the painting, and it was meant as a way for me to say, like, I'm taking it all off for you. I want you to see the artist underneath. Here I am for you on this stage. I live for your applause. So I think that as long as I keep performing live and keep doing interviews, I just keep hammering that message home, and eventually they won't write about my tushy and they'll write about my talent.
Well, there is one tushy question that is bothering me. And did you, before you sat down in that arena seat, did you throw down a piece of tissue paper or
That's a disgusting.
No.
That's a disgusting arena, and you're
I
sitting.
did not.
Okay.
Was that a cloth seat or a leather seat? Not that there's a right answer.
If I could tell you the number of arenas I've been to around the world and the number of stadiums that I've played, my tushy's hit quite a few seats, and I can say that, I have a good relationship with arenas. It's not a toilet. It's very different.
Yeah, but this
Very
is a Bronx seat, and that might be totally different.
It was Brooklyn, but
That's
I'm
right.
from New York, and I lived in Brooklyn for a really long time, and if I could tell you the number of times that I rolled down the street in my short shorts. I mean, I guess everybody in their hometown feels comfortable, and I was having such a good time that night. I mean, that's what pop music's all about, is having fun and sharing your expression with everybody. So I just was having a really good time, especially when NSYNC came out all together. I was really excited about that.
Were you geeking out about NSYNC when you were younger also? I mean, was this were you as excited as the rest of the country?
Yeah, because I was 14 when they first came out and they were really big. So I was sitting in the audience and I hadn't seen them live in such a long time. So I was so happy. And I think I never imagined that they would be performing at the VMAs again. So it was a dream come true for me to be on the same stage as them.
We had J.C. Chazé on yesterday, and he said there's a 1 in a million shot that they'll ever do that ever again. So that was a one-trick pony for those guys.
Oh, well, that's sad. Well, I'll do it again. I'll be on stage again.
Lady Gaga hanging out with the Burt Show.
Well, this is coming full circle for me because the first time I saw you perform, you were opening for New Kids on the Block when they came back for their first reunion tour. So NSYNC to you is like New Kids to me, and it that music, it takes you back. That's what's so powerful about music. I feel those same feelings I did when I was that little middle school girl, and it's such an incredible feeling.
Yeah, it's really great, and it's also nice because that's the type of relationship I've always wanted to build with my fans. And I think my favorite part about being a pop star today is that my fans are really, really diehard, and they're really super fan. And every year when I see them, I see them all come together in the arena, and they've grown up a little bit, and they've, matured, or they've become more, secure in themselves. And they come there and they relive the past 5 years of their life for the night, and it's beautiful to watch. So, I learned about super fandom through bands like NSYNC, and it's something, even though my show's a little more punk pop than that, that was really always the thing that drove me, is how do I give birth to the super fan?
What is the connection that you have with your fans that some artists just can never really reach with their audience? What makes them so close and special? It's a really special relationship between the two of you.
I have always asked myself that question because sometimes it's very hard to put your finger on things like that. I guess it's like if you're in love with somebody and you say, what is it that you love about them? It's really hard to list off all the things because you love so many, and it's really not just one thing. It's the feeling that you get when you're with them. And I've come to realize, though, and especially since Art Pop has started coming out, with applause, what I'm realizing is that what the fans love about me the most is my passion. And I've always been kind of a unretouched pop star, and I have such a raw passion for what I do, and they have such a raw passion for what they do. And when we come together, there's this explosion of love for music and art and fashion and technology, and it bonds us together. So even though I think I'll always be an outcast in pop music in a way, because of them, I have a lot of kids to sit at the table with. They all come sit with me, and we hang out together, and we geek out on the things that we like. The connection is real because if I was in high school with them or if I was in college with them, we would really be friends. They don't just like me because, they like the music. They like me because they love everything about the lifestyle I live.
Yeah, listening to you talk about your relationship with your fans, I do equate it to them being your best friends. Do you ever become overwhelmed by trying to maintain that relationship? Because that's a lot of pressure.
Well, no, because so much of what they want from me and what they love about me is my ability to inspire them. So I don't necessarily, I've never created music for other people, if that makes sense. I mean, I make it to make other people happy.